So once we've drawn all the contour lines, then we're going to go ahead and clean up our drawing, and we want to make sure that the proportions are right. So that's really important. So look at the size of the head of your reference. So here I actually just printed out a photo that I took of the mannequin, but you should just be looking at the mannequin. But you want to compare, is the length of the head right compared to maybe the width of the head? So is the length on our actual drawing, does it match the width, the ratio of the width that we see in the reference? So when we're looking at the mannequin, make sure that the shoulders, the length of the head relative to the size of the shoulders, the width of the shoulders, make sure that all matches up. Then you can just go ahead and make sure the shapes are right. So does this look, like a sphere that's partially obscured? And does this sphere over here actually look round like a sphere? So go ahead and clean up your drawing, make sure all those lines and shapes are right. Then you're going to choose some oil pastel or some chalk. We're actually using chalk today. Choose one color scheme to work with. So I like working in monochromatic colors, but a wide range of values. So I chose kind of a purpley, dark purpley color, a medium blue, and then a light blue. And then I also have a white that I might use for the highlights, but I'm going to get working and see if those colors work together. I may decide to go in and add some black instead of this purple to make it a little darker, but I'm going to get working and see if I like the amount of contrast that I'm seeing. And again, you can always take a pencil eraser to kind of clean up your drawing if there are any areas that you don't like. Just be careful as you're wiping any erasers, or as you're blending or putting your fingers down on your paper. Make sure you're not going to smear your drawings. That's the one thing you need to be careful about. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at the mannequin and decide where are the light and dark areas. So up here I see this is the lightest part, the top of the head of the mannequin. And then I also see some light areas up at the shoulder, at the top of the arm, the tops of the joints, the spheres at the top there. And then this front area is also pretty light compared to the dark areas. And then the dark areas, we get the back of the head, right? And then the bottom of the arm here on the left side. And that whole arm is actually pretty dark when you compare it to other areas. Same as the face. So it's, it's a pretty wide range of values. The dark is a lot darker than the light parts of this. So now I'm going to go ahead and use the darker purpley color that I have to block in the shadow area. So I'm starting with the back of the head, and I'm making a nice clean line to show where the sharp edges are. And I'm just going to fast forward this video slightly to show you how I block in all the different areas that are darker. So under the arm, at the bottom of the circles, and then I went in and added black because I decided there wasn't enough contrast between the purpley color and the blue that I was using. So I went in and added black, and then I went in and put blue in where all the medium shades are. So all the blue is the medium shades that's in the shadow side, but isn't as dark as the black. And then I went in and added all the highlights. So I start with the light blue at the brightest spot, which I see is sort of the top of the head. So I went in and I blocked in the area that has all the light blue. So after filling in the top of the head, I'm going to go ahead and do the shoulder area because that's also a really light spot. And then as well as the front of the chest is a little bit light. And the tops of the spheres at the shoulder joints, the top of this arm over here. And then I'm going to add in the medium blue to any spots that I didn't already get. I'm going to start blending it all together. So I'm going to first blend all the areas that are similarly shaded. So I'm going to blend all the light area to sort of smooth it out. And then I can go in and add some more of the medium blue and start blending it. And you'll notice at the top there, between where the light blue and the medium blue are, The more I blend with my finger, the rounder or softer that edge looks. Same thing with the sphere. The more I blend it together, the sort of softer the transition is, and that's good. But then over here where the neck becomes the shoulder, I actually want that to be a hard edge. So I went through with my eraser and cleaned it up and went back and added some more of the light color to really make it look distinct between the neck and the shoulder, because those are two different parts. Then I went ahead and added a little bit more lightness at the front as well as at the top of that neck sphere, because I wanted to make that pop a little bit more. And then I just went through and started blending in the medium blue to my light and the dark areas on the head to start to make that look a little bit more rounded. So again, I'm just using my fingers, sort of blending together to make a soft transition. And then I decided, you know, I want a little more lightness, and then I'm layering right on top of each other, the light and the dark and the medium blue on the paper. And once I get a nice heavy layer of both the light and the medium, then I can go through and start blending with my fingers. So now I'm going in and I'm doing this other front edge of the face. That's a little bit lighter on that section. So I went in and used some of the lighter color and blended it on top of the medium blue right there to create that transition where sort of like the nose is. And then I went through and cleaned up those edges, sort of where the eye socket is, and added more medium blue and then some of the dark. And now I'm also making that edge a little sharper. That shows that transition from sort of the front of the eye socket area right there with the back of the head. So I went in and added some black, and then I decided I'm going to just keep layering that on. So I'm going through all those transitions, and again, the more you blend, the softer an area looks. And if you want to have a hard edge like between two sections, then just don't use your finger to blend those two colors in so much to each other, and that'll help keep the harder edges. So after you start blending, then you keep reworking it, keep adding more color, fill in the areas that you need to on the paper, soften the edges, harden the edges with more color, but just keep reworking it until you get a nice the transitions that you want between the different shapes, and you want to make sure though to keep the light and the dark areas distinct. So you're going to take your pencil eraser and just start cleaning up all the edges when you're happy with how everything looks blended, and just clean everything up, make it look, the edges look nice and sharp, and then you're finished.